Here it is finally here in New York City, taking a big step in the reopening during the coronavirus pandemic. Phase 2 is upon us.
News 4's David USHERY kicking off our team coverage on this long road to recovery from the Upper West Side. Hi, David.
Hello, Natalie and Chuck. Yeah, that road to recovery snaking all around the 5 boroughs today, and our crews have been out covering it, getting a sense of what it looks like. This is our vantage point on a stretch of Amsterdam in the 80s, and it looks quite nice. People sitting, waiters with their masks and gloves, people sitting, wearing their masks, obviously taking them down to eat. But this is what it looks like. Here's what phase 2 is meant for the city. In addition to the outdoor dining, you also have barber shops opening, hair salons opening, some offices opening as well. And it is an exciting time, but of course a cautious time for, well, playgrounds also busy today. It was a hot one, but people wanted to get out. Now, the phase 2 reopening, though, however, is not mean we are back to normal. In fact, it's nothing like normal. There are masks that you need to wear, as you've seen, hand sanitizers everywhere. Social distancing is the order of the day and night, and pre-scheduled appointments and reservations will be the way of life for the foreseeable future. Now, as we said, we saw people dining out here on the Upper West Side. The city estimates that about 150,000 to 300,000 workers return to work, and a number of restaurants applied for this Open NYC restaurant program. That's going to give them some additional space. We heard the mayor talk about outdoor dining today. And in fact, we learned he's going to have dinner tonight with the First Lady, Chirlane McCray. We just found out where. It's going to be at Melba's, which is well known. It's in Harlem. And the mayor says, of course, the eating restaurants close to his heart.
The world of New York restaurants is very, very personally important to me. And I'm very excited that this day has come. I'm very excited for these folks who have put their whole lives into their restaurants. It's just so much a part of life of the city, but it's something that gives me a tremendous amount of joy.
How about finding a pulse with our commute? The MTA says for the first time, ridership has surpassed 2 million last Friday. And the mayor's office reports mass transit use is on the rise. Subway ridership is up 29%. 22% more people are riding the buses, and 31% more people are taking the Staten Island ferry. But again, finding a pulse doesn't mean its heartbeat is as vibrant as it once was. Overall ridership is down about 74% from normal, from usual weekday numbers. News source Adam Siff covers the commute for us. He's covering this phase 2 reopening for us. He's in the Jackson Heights section of Queens. Adam? Andrew? Sorry.
David, how are you? Good to see you. You know, there's a lot of anxiety associated with the phase 2 reopening as well, because thousands and thousands of people are rushing back to work, and for retail stores, that means there's a line to get in.
It's a scary situation for me.
Alice Tillman admits she overcame fear to commute from Staten Island to Queens for the first time since March.
Just got to get used to it. It's kind of scary, my first day back on public transportation.
She's not alone. Some subway cars filled fast today. So did bridges and tunnels into Manhattan. Phase 2 meant crowds of people lining up for shoes and clothing.
It's back to civilization kind of feeling.
And signing up for haircuts.
We're happy that it's phase 2 and we again reopened. We're following all guidelines of CDC. We're working every other chair.
Salon owner Erica FLEISHMAN back in business after 3 months of pandemic shutdown.
We just prayed for the day that we would be able to reopen, and all we did was prepare the best we could.
The governor said he's prepared to undo the restart if COVID cases spike.
If we see any tick in those numbers, we will respond.
But so far, so good. Although for the subways, the transit president urged companies to stagger shifts.
There are only so many ways we can play this. At some point, we're maxed out. So the most important thing is people can avoid those rush hours, those peak times, and mask vigilance. That'll be the most important thing.
And of course, restaurants. More than 3,000 eateries applied for outdoor permits. Some allowed to use parking spaces for outdoor tables. Key to economic survival.
It makes a big difference for us because right now we're just doing takeout and delivery, and that was not really making it for us.
I asked the mayor and his transportation team if they're worried about fights over space.
Are you concerned that this might lead to some confrontations out there?
So I think it's an issue, but I believe that the vast majority of people will respect it and will certainly help restaurants.
We're going to be on the ground today helping to resolve those conflicts where we can.
Believe it or not, so far, no conflicts that we've heard of. And believe this or not, Phase 3, if all goes well in Phase 2, could start in New York City on Monday, July 6th, just 2 weeks from now. We're live in Jackson Heights, Queens. Andrew Siff, News 4 New York.
Okay, Andrew Siff, my good friend, known him a long time. Andrew, not Adam. And you can see no conflicts here, too. The issue that he's describing here, where the space ventures out in the street. So what's next for New York City? We're likely a couple of weeks away from Phase 3. But that's not the case for other regions. They're moving on. Tomorrow, the Mid-Hudson region set to enter Phase 3. That's 7 counties, and that will include Westchester and Rockland. Long Island is expected to follow on Wednesday. Restaurants can now allow indoor dining at 50% capacity when that happens. Nail salons, spas, and tattoo shops can also open up. But again, we got out a good look at Phase 2 here, a good sight to see. It's a start for us. And again, as I said earlier, we've been hungering for some comfort, Chuck and Natalie, for some time.
So many people have been waiting so long for this. All right, David, thank you so much for that look. And we have to talk about how hot it is. He doesn't look like he's that hot out there, but it's humid out there. Here in the city, Central Park broke 90 degrees. That makes today the hottest day since October 2nd.
Well, we've got the AC running for the first time this year out here in North Stamford. And Janice, how long are we going to have to put up with these steamy conditions?
Well, Chuck, it looks like the steam is going to stick around for most of this week. When we get to the end of the week, though, a cold front comes through, and those dew points, the numbers that measure the amount of moisture in the atmosphere, they'll drop. So our humidity levels will drop, and it'll be a lot more pleasant. In between that, we'll get a hit or miss thunderstorm. Right now, the Staten Island Expressway looks great. 84 degrees and sunshine in Central Park, and sunshine there on Staten Island as well. We'll stay dry for the rest of the night. The temperatures will drop below 80, but not until about 11 o'clock in the city, 78, and it stays warm overnight in the 70s. Some of you will have 60s. Speaking of 60s, that's where our dew points are right now, and tomorrow the same. So when you see this number in the 60s, it feels uncomfortable. Once it drops into the 50s, it feels a lot better, and that's what we're expecting later in the week. By the end of the week, early this weekend, we are anticipating some drier air coming in, and the nights will really cool down. But we're still going to stay pretty warm during the day. We'll have the rest of the 10-day forecast in just a few minutes. Back to you.
All right, Janice, thank you. In New Jersey, a lot of activities and businesses are resuming, and you can see that includes opening outdoor pools, non-contact outdoor sports, got the thumbs up as well today. Beauty salons, barbershop spas, nail salons, and tattoo parlors also back in business. And outdoor gatherings may now increase from 100 to 250. Indoor gatherings now limited to 25% capacity, but cannot exceed 100 people.
News 4's Sarah Wallace visited several businesses in northern New Jersey. She's in Hoboken with how it went.
Finally, light at the end of months of darkness. You can now get laser hair removal, waxing, or a facial. Two sisters bought the Beauty Bar Nail Salon in Hoboken in December and were just starting to build a clientele when COVID hit.
It's really like we're starting all over again. I think we're in a great community, very supportive community. So I have high hopes that we will survive.
Every personal care business taking the new safety protocols seriously. At Lily & Lee Salon in Bergenfield, clients are shrink-wrapped in disposable plastic capes, and employee shifts are split up.
We're staggering clients 1 hour a time. So each stylist, we're only having 3 stylists here because as you can see, I split 50% of my room. Every hour a client will come in, and then the next hour we have that little space in between to be able to prepare for the next client.
Clearly, customers are comfortable with the new look. Debbie KAHN came in with her 94-year-old mom.
You know, hair is wrapped up in self-esteem, and with all of the frustrations and limitations that we have in life, feeling good about yourself is more important than ever.
The shop in Englewood is buzzing with business. It too has new spacing and sanitizing, but the feel is still old school styling.
The relationship between a black man and his barber is unreal. It's like, you know, we get our haircuts every single week, and you know, to not be able to do that, you don't really want to leave your house.
You walk in here, it's an ambiance. It's something that you can be expecting. You're gonna feel great when you walk in here.
And great when you walk out.
You're going to feel even better. I can't tell what you're going to walk out. You're going to walk out like you own the world.
Such a big step today, and another one next week when indoor dining opens up. So will casinos. From Hoboken, Sarah Wallace, News 4 New York.